Anna Miller's family went bankrupt overnight. Her father was hospitalized in critical condition, and she had nowhere left to turn. With red-rimmed eyes, she asked to borrow $500,000. My brain short-circuited. I made a half-hearted joke saying that lending the money was fine, but my parents were strict with the family trust. I told her that if she gave me a child to appease them, I could pass the money off as a marriage settlement. Before I could finish the sentence, she slapped me across the face and called me a bastard. She didn't know that I had been preparing for this moment for 8 years. I never expected that 3 days later she would find me with her identification documents in hand. Noah, the child. I'll have it. $500,000. Give it to me now. Noah, can you lend me the money? Inside the coffee shop, Anna kept her head down. Her voice was barely a whisper. Her eyes, usually sparkling like diamonds, were now covered in a web of red veins. Her fingers gripped the hem of her shirt so hard her knuckles turned white. My heart tightened. I had known Anna for 18 years and been her best friend for 8. I had never seen her this humble. She was always the proud, vibrant girl who acted like a little son. What happened? I tried to keep my voice steady. My dad's company collapsed, and he had a sudden stroke. He's in a hospital and needs immediate surgery. Tears fell from her eyes like broken beads. The doctor says we need $500,000. We don't have a cent left. Noah, I know this is sudden, but you're the only one I can think of. $500,000. To me, that amount was nothing. Even $5 million wouldn't be an issue. I wouldn't blink if she asked, but I couldn't just give it to her. Given her pride, this money would become a burden that would crush her for the rest of her life. She would work herself to death to pay it back and lower herself to the dust. We would never be equals again. I had secretly loved her for 8 years. I didn't want our relationship to turn into creditor and debtor. My brain spun fast trying to find a way for her to accept the money. I cleared my throat and leaned back against the sofa pretending to be relaxed. Borrowing money. No problem. But you know how strict the old man is. If I transfer such a large amount, he'll ask questions. The light in Anna's eyes dimmed. She forced a smile that was uglier than crying. It's okay. I'll think of another way. Hey, don't rush. I haven't finished. I interrupted quickly while my heart pounded. The words I was about to say felt ridiculous even to me. It's not impossible. Look at how my mom pushes me to get married every day. It's driving me crazy. How about you give me a child, and this $500,000 can be the settlement? That way I can explain it to my parents, and your money will be... Smack! A crisp sound echoed through the coffee shop. My face burned with pain. I was stunned. Anna stood before me with her chest heaving. Those red eyes were filled with anger and disappointment, like two burning flames. Noah. She practically grit her teeth, shouting my name. I really misjudged you. I treated you as my best brother. I came to beg you when I was at my lowest, and you want to use money to humiliate me. No, Anna. Listen to me. I didn't mean that. I stood up trying to grab her hand. Don't touch me. She shook me off like I was a plague. In your eyes, am I the kind of woman who sells her body for money? $500,000 for a child. No, you're a real piece of work. She grabbed her bag and rushed out of the coffee shop without looking back. I froze in place. My face burned, but my heart felt like it had been hollowed out, leaving only cold pain. I had ruined everything. I just wanted to use a clumsy method to give her a reason to accept the money without damaging her self-esteem. I thought we could sign a fake contract, act out a play, give her the money, and then break up peacefully after her family recovered. But my stupid mouth chose the most bastardly way to say it. I chased her out of the coffee shop. The street was busy with traffic, but there was no sign of Anna. I took out my phone and called her with trembling hands. The receiver only played the cold, automated message. The subscriber you are calling is busy. Once, twice, 3 times. I understood. She had blocked me. I squatted on the curb like an abandoned dog. People walked by without glancing at me. 8 years of secret love. 8 years of caution. 8 years of silent guarding. I had smashed it all to pieces in a few minutes. I raised my hand and slapped myself harder than Anna had. Noah Sterling, you are the world's biggest idiot. Back home, I threw myself onto the sofa. My brain was a mess. Anna's father was still waiting for money to save his life. She ran away angry. Where would she go? Who else could she borrow from? I grabbed my hair in frustration, feeling helpless for the first time. My phone rang suddenly. I thought it was Anna and grabbed it excitedly. The screen flashed the name Chloe. The fire in my heart extinguished instantly. I swiped to answer impatiently. Hello, Noah. Where are you? I heard something happened to Anna's family. Is she okay? Chloe's voice was gentle as always, but I didn't want to hear a single word. Chloe was the daughter of my dad's business partner. We grew up together, and outsiders saw us as childhood sweethearts, but I only saw her as a sister. She didn't seem to think so, and always badmouthed Anna in front of me. Whether she's good or not has nothing to do with you. I replied coldly. Why are you saying that? I'm just concerned about her. But seriously, Noah, I'm not trying to be mean, but her family is bankrupt. You should keep your distance. Families like ours are most afraid of being entangled by people like that. You won't be able to shake them off. Chloe, I roared, unable to bear it anymore. If you dare say another bad word about her, don't blame me for being rude. I hung up and dragged her into the block list. The whole world thought Anna wasn't good enough for me, but only I knew I was the one looking up to her. I couldn't just let this go. I had to find her and explain. Her father's surgery couldn't wait. I sprang from the sofa, grabbed my car keys, and rushed out. I knew where she might go. The old neighborhood in Brooklyn where we grew up. The place that held all our memories. I drove around the streets of Brooklyn, staring at every figure on the roadside. The sky darkened and the streetlights came on. I still hadn't found her. Just as I was about to despair, my phone vibrated. It was a text from an unknown number. Noah, it's Chad. Anna is with me. She drank too much and is in a bad mood. Don't bother looking. I'll take care of her. Chad Kensington, the rich frat boy who chased Anna for 4 years in college. My heart sank to the bottom of the ocean and rage shot straight to my skull. I slammed on the gas pedal. The engine roared as I sped toward the bar mentioned in the text. Anna, don't you dare let anything happen. I kicked open the door to the VIP booth at the Nightfall bar. Anna was slumped over the table. Her face was flushed red. She was clearly blacked out. Chad, that refined scumbag, was reaching out to touch her face. Get your dirty hands off her. I roared and rushed over, slapping his hand away. Chad clearly didn't expect me to appear. He paused, then pushed up his gold-rimmed glasses and stood straight with a fake smile. Noah, perfect timing. Look at how drunk Anna is. I was just about to take her home. You don't need to worry about where her home is. I didn't waste words with him. I bent down to help Anna up. She was unconscious, mumbling vaguely. Bastard. Noah, you big bastard. Every word felt like a needle in my heart. No, what did you do to Anna? Chad stood aside, looking righteous. When I met her today, she was crying on the roadside, cursing you. I asked her what was wrong, but she wouldn't say. She just wanted a drink. Did you bully her? I struggled to prop Anna up. Her body was soft and her entire weight pressed against me. The familiar scent of her shampoo filled my nose, making my heart ache. I'm warning you. Stay away from her. I glared at Chad coldly while supporting Anna. Chad smiled like a fox. Why? Don't think I don't know. You and Anna are just good buddies, right? What right do you have to control me? I like Anna. I've liked her since the first day of college. The whole school knows. But you clearly like her, but only dare to hide in the shell of a brother. What kind of man are you? His words were like a knife, precisely stabbing my most painful spot. I trembled with anger. If I wasn't holding Anna, I would have punched his hypocritical face. I'll tell you this. I know about Anna's family situation. Chad stepped closer, lowering his voice, so only we could hear. $500,000 is nothing to me. I already told her. As long as she agrees to be my girlfriend, I'll give her the money immediately. Noah, what do you have to compete with me? My pupils constricted as I stared at him. So he had planned this all along. Taking advantage of her crisis. Despicable. In your dreams. I squeezed the words through my teeth. Is it a dream? We'll know soon enough. Chad smiled smugly and adjusted his tie. Anna is a good girl. She won't let a bastard like you, who only uses money to humiliate her, succeed. Oh, right. Her phone died, so it's charging over here. Remember to take it when you leave. He handed me Anna's phone and walked away confidently. I watched his back and clenched my fist until it cracked. I couldn't let Anna fall into the hands of scum like that. Absolutely not. I took Anna back to my apartment. It was the place I bought in Tribeca after graduation. Not far from her home, but she had never been here. I placed her on the bed and covered her with a quilt. I sat by the bed watching her sleeping face. Her long eyelashes still held teardrops and her brows were tightly knit. Even in sleep, she seemed full of anxiety. I reached out to smooth the wrinkles between her brows, but stopped just before touching her skin. What right did I have? In her heart, I was probably just a bastard who used money to insult her. I took out her phone and unlocked it with her fingerprint. The screen lit up, showing the iMessage interface, still paused on her conversation with Chad. Chad, Anna, don't be sad. I'll solve the money problem for you. Chad, you don't need to pay back the $500,000. Just promise to be my girlfriend. Chad, I know you're confused right now. Think about it. I'm waiting for your answer anytime. And Anna's reply was just one sentence. Thank you, Chad. That thank you hit my heart like a heavy hammer. She felt anger and disappointment toward me, but gratitude toward Chad. I sat on the carpet defeated and didn't sleep all night. The next morning, Anna woke up. The hangover gave her a splitting headache. She rubbed her temples and sat up. Seeing the unfamiliar environment, she froze, then saw me sitting on the sofa. Her eyes instantly turned cold and wary. Why am I here? You drank too much yesterday. I brought you back. My voice was hoarse from lack of sleep. She lifted the quilt to check her clothes. Finding them intact, she seemed to sigh in relief. That small action stung me again. Thanks. I'll figure out the medical bills myself. You don't need to worry about it. She stood up, speaking with a tone as distant as if talking to a stranger. Pretend I never said anything yesterday. Let's not contact each other anymore. Anna. I stood up, abruptly blocking her path. You can't go to Chad. He's not a good person. Whether he's a good person or not has nothing to do with you. Anna sneered. At least he wouldn't ask me to bear his child when I'm at my most difficult. Noah, I was really blind before to treat you as my best friend. That was nonsense. I just didn't want you to feel pressured. I explained urgently. I intended to give you that $500,000 anyway. I was afraid you wouldn't take it. Enough. She interrupted me. Stop talking. In the end, my dignity and friendship are only worth $500,000 to you, right? No, let me go. I don't want to see you. She issued an eviction order. An eviction order against me in my own home. No, this wasn't her home. It was my apartment. But in this moment, I felt like a clown being swept out the door. My heart sank to the bottom. I knew she wouldn't listen to anything I said now. I had to think of another way. A way she could accept, and that would completely cut off Chad's hope. Fine, I'll leave. I took a deep breath and turned toward the door. At the door, I stopped without looking back. Anna, wait for me for 3 days. I'll give you an explanation within 3 days. Before that, don't promise Chad anything. I'm begging you. I opened the door and walked out. I didn't go to my parents' house. I drove straight to the company. My dad's company. I had been working here since graduation as a mid-level manager. I barged straight into the chairman's office. Dad, I need an advance on my dividends for the next 5 years. I got straight to the point. My dad was looking at documents through his reading glasses. He looked up at me in surprise. What do you need that much money for? Your salary isn't enough. I have emergency. For the Miller girl. My dad hit the nail on the head. I froze. I never told him. Don't think I don't know anything. My dad took off his glasses and rubbed his forehead. The Miller family situation has spread through our circle. I don't object to you helping her, but Noah, you have to think clearly. In what capacity do you want to help her? A friend or something else? I fell silent. Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. My dad stood up, walked over to me, and patted my shoulder. Giving money directly is the stupidest method. You can help for a moment, but not a lifetime. You'll trample that girl's self-esteem into the dirt. Think about it carefully. My dad's words woke me up. Yes, giving money directly treats the symptoms, but not the root cause. It would completely unbalance our relationship. I needed a foolproof plan. A plan that could solve the Miller family's urgent need, allow Anna to accept it with dignity, and make a guy like Chad give up completely. For the next 2 days, I locked myself in my office. I reviewed countless documents and consulted the company's legal team. Finally, a bold, even slightly crazy plan formed in my mind. This plan might make her hate me more, but it was the only way I could think of to protect her. On the 3rd day, I took a contract I had drafted and drove to Anna's apartment building. I sent her a text. I am downstairs. Come down. I'll give you the $500,000. When Anna came down, the red veins in her eyes were worse than 3 days ago. She wore a faded t-shirt and her face was haggard like paper. She looked as if all her energy had been drained. Seeing me, her eyes held no anger, only a dead numbness. Where's the money? She asked directly. Her voice was raspy. My heart ached beyond measure, but I had to keep my face calm. I picked up a manila envelope from the passenger seat and handed it to her. She didn't take it. She just looked at me with a hint of mockery in her eyes. Conditions. Get in the car and we'll talk. She hesitated, but opened the door and sat in. I placed the manila envelope on the center console between us. Then I took out another document. The envelope contained $500,000 in cash. I pointed to the document. This is our prenuptial agreement. What? Anna turned her head, sharply looking at me in disbelief. Noah, are you crazy? I'm not crazy. I looked straight into her eyes, speaking clearly. And we were getting married. A contract marriage. Her lips trembled and she couldn't speak for a long time. I handed her the contract I had stayed up 2 nights to draft. Read it clearly. We register for marriage. The marriage lasts for 1 year. Within 1 year, you live as my wife. Second, in return, I will immediately pay you $1 million. $500,000 for your father's surgery and another $500,000 for your living expenses and family turnover. Third, within this year, we sleep in separate rooms. We do not interfere with each other's private lives. I won't touch you, and you can't interfere with my friends. Fourth, externally, we must play the role of a loving couple, especially in front of my family. Fifth, when a year is up, we divorce immediately. I will give you another compensation payment. After the divorce, we have nothing to do with each other. With every clause I spoke, Anna's face turned paler. When I finished, she laughed suddenly, as if she had heard the biggest joke in the world. While laughing, tears flowed out again. Noah, what exactly do you want to do? Is playing me fun? First having a baby, now a fake marriage. Do you feel a sense of accomplishment trampling my dignity under your feet? This isn't trampling. This is a transaction. My voice was cold as ice. Anna, you need money now. I need a wife to deal with my parents. We each take what we need. Fair trade. I paused and continued. Chad came to find you, right? Did he say that as long as you become his girlfriend, he'll give you $500,000? Anna, do you believe him? As long as you nod, he can make you his girlfriend today and get you into his bed tomorrow. When he gets tired of playing guess how he'll treat you. You'll lose everything. How will you face your parents then? Do you think I don't know what kind of person he is? How many girlfriends did he change in college? Which one wasn't played with and then dumped? Going to him is truly degrading yourself. My words were like sharp knives, making Anna tremble. She knew Chad wasn't a good person, but she had no way out. Marry me, and you are Mrs. Sterling. You are Noah Sterling's legitimate wife. No one dares to look down on you. No one dares to touch you. Even Chad wouldn't have the guts to harass a married woman. After a year, we part on good terms. You could take the money and start over. You could go anywhere you want. You in this trade. I looked at her and slowed my speech. Your dad's surgery can't wait any longer. That last sentence was a straw that broke the camel's back. Anna's shoulders slumped. All the struggle and anger disappeared, leaving only endless exhaustion and despair. She was silent for a long time, long enough that I thought she would slam the door and leave. Finally, she picked up the agreement and said in a tone of near self-abandonment, "Fine, I'll sign." My heart was half filled with the ecstasy of getting what I wanted and half with the pain of forcing her to this point. Did you bring your ID? I asked. She took her documents out of her bag and slapped them on the console. Let's go. To City Hall. Now. The red background wall stung my eyes. The clerk asked in a formulaic way, "Are you two marrying voluntarily?" I looked at Anna beside me. She was expressionless with empty eyes. I clenched my fists and answered for her. Yes, voluntarily. When the 2 brand new marriage certificates were handed to us, I felt like I was dreaming. The day I had waited 8 years for had come true in this way. The atmosphere in the car was terribly oppressive. Anna held the marriage certificate and looked at it over and over, as if trying to find a flower in it. Suddenly she spoke. What are we now? Legal husband and wife. Partners in the agreement. I started the car. She laughed at herself. Partners. Fine. I'll remember that. I drove to the bank and withdrew $500,000 in cash right in front of her, putting it in the manila envelope. Then I transferred another $500,000 to her account. Password: "It's your birthday," I said. She looked at the deposit notification on her phone. Her eyes were complex. Finally, she just said 2 words: "Thank you. It's part of the deal." I reminded her deliberately. I drove her home. Before she got out, I stopped her. "Move into my place tomorrow." She stiffened and looked back at me. The agreement didn't say we had to live together. The agreement said we have to play a loving couple. I said word by word, "If we don't live together, how do we act? My parents could make a surprise inspection at any time. And since you signed a contract, have some professional spirit." She bit her lip and didn't argue. She carried the heavy bag of money and went upstairs without looking back. Watching her figure, I leaned on the steering wheel with mixed feelings. No, you succeeded. You used the most despicable means to tie her to your side. But are you happy? I didn't know. I only knew that from today on, Anna, the girl I had secretly loved for 8 years, became my wife. Even if it was only for a year. Even if it was fake. I accepted it. When Anna moved into my apartment, she only brought 1 suitcase. My 2,000 square foot apartment instantly had a hint of life because of her arrival. Even if that life was cold. You take the master bedroom. It has an ensuite bathroom and walk-in closet. I pointed to the largest room. "No need. I'll take the guest room." She was polite like an outsider. "You are Mrs. Sterling. If you don't stay in a master bedroom, should I, the husband, stay there?" I insisted. "If my parents find out our act is blown." She didn't argue anymore and silently pushed her suitcase into the master bedroom. When she came out, I slapped a piece of paper on the coffee table in the living room. "This is a supplementary clause." She looked at me suspiciously and picked up the paper. It contained a few rules I had handwritten. Prohibit entering each other's room without necessity. Chores are rotated or shared. Must return home before 11 p.m. Report in advance for special circumstances. Prohibit bringing the opposite sex home overnight. She read them one by one. When she saw the end, she laughed out loud. "Noah, did you watch too many soap operas?" 3 rules. This was the first time she smiled at me since becoming my wife. Although it was a mocking smile, my heart still skipped a beat. This is to avoid unnecessary trouble. I kept a straight face. "Fine. Partner." She picked up a pen and signed her name at the bottom, then looked at me. "Now it's my turn to add a few." She scribbled a few lines quickly. "No touching me outside. Holding waists or hands is limited to meeting parents. No prying into my privacy, including my phone and computer. All expenses AA split." I frowned at the 3rd one. "I'm your husband. Legally." She interrupted me. "Partner in the agreement." "No, I don't want to owe you more." I didn't say anything else and signed it too. Cohabitation began in a weird peace. We were like 2 roommates sharing a rental, strictly abiding by each other's rules. Meeting at the bathroom door in the morning, we would nod politely. Watching TV in a living room at night, we each occupied one end of the sofa, separated by a massive divide. Her father's surgery was successful and follow-up rehabilitation was arranged. Her family's debt was temporarily relieved. With the heavy stone lifted from her heart, her complexion improved a lot. Occasionally, she would chat with me about funny things at school over dinner. I knew she still had a grudge against me, but at least she no longer looked at me with that cold, hateful gaze. That was already huge progress for me. The turning point happened on a weekend afternoon. I was processing files in the study when the doorbell rang. I thought it was delivery and opened the door in my pajamas. Standing at the door was Chloe, dressed to the nines, holding a delicate thermos. "Noah." As soon as she saw me, she affectionately tried to link her arm with mine. I instinctively took a step back to dodge. "Why are you here?" I frowned. "I heard you moved back home recently, so I made soup especially for you." She tried to squeeze in. "Oh my God, this place is huge. Isn't it lonely living alone?" Just then, Anna walked out of the master bedroom, wearing cartoon pajamas and rubbing her sleepy eyes. "Noah, who is it? So noisy." Her words stopped abruptly the moment she saw Chloe. 3 people, 6 eyes staring at each other in the entryway. The air solidified instantly. Chloe's face turned more colorful than a palette. She pointed at Anna, her voice sharp enough to break glass. "Why is she here?" "Noah, are you living together?" Before I could speak, Anna yawned and walked over lazily. She naturally reached out from behind me and hooked her arm around mine, resting her head affectionately on my shoulder. Who is this, sister? Hubby. That hubby made my soul fly away. I froze completely, my brain blank. Chloe's face was beyond ugly. She looked like she had been slapped hard. Her lips trembled. Hubby. Anna, do you have no shame? Your family is bankrupt and you're still clinging to Noah. Anna raised an eyebrow, smiling like a little fox. Sister, I think you're mistaken. Noah and I are legally married. It's perfectly natural for me to live in my own husband's house. But you coming to find someone else's husband with soup on a weekend. That's what I call having no shame. You got married. Chloe looked like she heard a fairy tale. Her eyes widened like copper bells. Otherwise, Anna slowly pulled the red marriage certificate from her bag and waved it in front of her. Stamped by the city clerk. Genuine. Chloe's face turned completely white. She looked at the certificate, then at me, tears spinning in her eyes. Noah, is this true? You actually, for her. I finally recovered from the shock. I cleared my throat, cooperating with Anna's performance. I reached out to hold her waist, pulling her closer into my arms. Chloe, let me introduce you. This is my wife, Anna Miller. I looked at Chloe, my tone flat but firm. Please have some self-respect in the future. Chloe broke down completely. She smashed the thermos on the ground, spilling soup everywhere. Noah, you bastard. You'll regret this. She ran away crying. The door slammed shut. The world was quiet. I looked down at Anna in my arms. She was looking up at me too. We were close enough to feel each other's breath. My heartbeat went out of control instantly. She seemed to realize how ambiguous our posture was. Her face turned red, and she broke free from my arms like lightning. Acting right. Full set. She tucked her hair behind her ear unnaturally. I responded, my throat a bit dry. Not bad. That's right. Look who I am. She lifted her chin, restoring her usual proud look. The atmosphere was awkward. I squatted down to clean up the mess on the floor. I'll do it. She squatted down too. No need. I'll do it. Two people are faster. We cleaned up the fragments and soup together. No one spoke again, but we both knew something had quietly changed between us. From that day on, she stopped calling me Noah Sterling and changed my nickname Noah. Although I knew it was just for better acting, I couldn't help feeling joy. Our relationship seemed to take a step from cold partners toward true roommates. I thought life would pass calmly like this until the year was up. But I forgot there are always people in this world who can't stand seeing others happy. My dad's 60th birthday became the first testing ground for our contract marriage. The Sterling family patriarch's 60th birthday banquet invited all the city celebrities. As the new daughter-in-law of the Sterling family, Anna naturally had to attend with me. I hired a top stylist to customize her look half a month in advance. On the night of the banquet, when she walked downstairs wearing a lake blue starry long dress with exquisite light makeup, I admit I was stunned. She was beautiful like a fairy who didn't eat human food, cold and dazzling. How is it? Didn't embarrass you, right, partner? She spun around in front of me, the skirt rippling like water. Very beautiful. I praised sincerely. I stepped forward and naturally extended my arm. She hesitated but placed her hand on it. Her hand was cold. I subconsciously tightened my grip. The banquet hall was crowded with guests and glasses clinked. We became the focus of the audience as soon as we appeared. Isn't that the Sterling kid? Who is the girl next to him? So pretty. You don't know. That's the Miller daughter he just married. Didn't the Millers go bankrupt? Why would the Sterlings agree to this marriage? Who knows? Maybe the kid insisted on marrying her. She's so beautiful. No wonder. Various whispers drifted over. Anna's face paled and her hand on my arm tightened slightly. I turned my head and whispered in her ear, "Don't be afraid. I'm here." She looked at me and nodded gently. My parents came up smiling immediately. My mom held Anna's hand, looking her oversatisfied beyond belief. "Oh, our Anna is so beautiful today. Noah, keep a close eye on your wife." "Got it, Mom," I answered with a smile. Anna also called them Mom and Dad obediently, with a decent smile on her face, dealing with the questioning of various relatives and elders flawlessly. Watching her handle it with ease, I felt both proud and distressed. I knew she didn't actually like this kind of occasion. Halfway through the banquet, I was drinking with a few uncles when I suddenly glimpsed an uninvited guest out of the corner of my eye. Chad. He was wearing a high-profile, white suit holding a wine glass and walking toward Anna. Anna was standing alone in the dessert area, seeming to be in a daze. My heart skipped a beat. I immediately put down my glass, excused myself to the elders, and walked over quickly. Anna, what a coincidence. You're here too. As I approached, I heard Chad's disgusting voice. Anna frowned immediately upon seeing him. Chad, why are you here? Uncle Sterling and my dad are family friends. Of course I have to come. Chad's gaze scanned Anna and scrupulously. Haven't seen you for a few days. You're getting more beautiful. How is life marrying into a wealthy family? Very nourishing. His words were full of undisguised jealousy and malice. It has nothing to do with you. Anna said coldly. How does it have nothing to do with me? Chad stepped closer, lowering his voice. I heard you and know I have a contract marriage just for $1 million. And you look down on yourself too much. If you were with me, let alone $1 million, I could give you $10 million. Why follow a coward like Noah, who only hides under the title of a brother? Anna's face turned pale instantly. What nonsense are you talking about? Am I talking nonsense? You know in your heart. Chad sneered and suddenly reached out to grab her wrist. Come with me. Leave this hypocritical place. I can give you whatever you want. Let go of me. Anna struggled. Anna, you should have been mine. I said let go of her. I rushed up and punched Chad hard in the face. He screamed and stumbled back a few steps, knocking over a table nearby. The sound of shattering glass instantly attracted the attention of the whole venue. The music stopped. Everyone looked over. No, you dare hit me. Chad wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and climbed up from the ground, his face ferocious. I shielded Anna behind me, looking at him coldly. Mad dogs biting people deserve to be beaten. Good, good. Chad laughed in anger. He pointed at us and shouted to the guests in the hall. Everyone come look. Look at how the young master of the Sterling family bullies people. Do you all think they are a loving couple? I tell you it's all fake. They have a contract marriage. Anna signed a deed of sale for money. The Sterlings bought a wife for a mere $1 million. Your Sterling family really has good family values. His words exploded in the banquet hall like a bomb. Everyone looked at us with shocked disdain and amusement. My parents' faces turned iron blue instantly. Anna hid behind me, trembling all over. I could feel her despair and breakdown. It was over. Everything was over. I took a deep breath. I knew I had to make a decision today. I took the microphone from the MC and walked onto the stage. The spotlight hit me. I could see every curious or mocking face below. That's right. I spoke, my voice spreading through the hall via the speakers, clear and steady. Chad is right. Our marriage started with a contract. The audience was in an uproar. Anna looked at me in disbelief from behind. She probably thought I would deny it desperately. I looked back at her, giving her a reassuring look, then faced the crowd again. But he only got half of it right. The contract is true, but my love for her is also true. This love isn't for 1 year, but for a whole 8 years. 8 years ago, the first time I saw Anna, I fell for her. But I was cowardly. I was timid. I only dared to stay by her side in the name of a brother, watching her laugh, watching her play, watching other guys confess to her. I was jealous to the point of madness, but couldn't say a single, I like you. When her family had an accident and her father was critically ill, she had nowhere to turn. I was more distressed than anyone and wanted to help her more than anyone. But I knew her pride. I was afraid that giving money directly would hurt her self-esteem and make it so we couldn't even be friends. So I used the world's stupidest, most bastardly method. I proposed a ridiculous transaction. I forced her to sign that contract. I forced her to marry me. Not because I looked down on her. Not because I wanted to use money to humiliate her. But because I loved her too much. I was afraid that if I didn't say it, if I didn't do something, I would really lose her in this life. I admit I was despicable. I admit I took advantage of her danger. But today I want to tell Anna in front of everyone and tell myself. I turned around, walked off the stage, and walked step by step to her. I knelt on one knee, looking up at her face, which was already covered in tears. Anna Miller, I love you. Regardless of the contract, regardless of money. Just know a Sterling loving Anna Miller for 8 whole years. Before I was too cowardly. Now are you willing to give me a chance, to let me use a lifetime to make up for my mistakes, and let me become your real husband? The entire banquet hall was silent. Everyone was stunned by this sudden, shocking reversal and deep confession. Anna covered her mouth, tears rolling down like broken pearls. She looked at me. Her eyes held shock, emotion, grievance, and too many emotions I couldn't read. The whole world was waiting for her answer. I was waiting for my sentence. Time seemed to freeze at this moment. Anna just stood there crying and looking at me, unable to say a word. I knelt on one knee, my heart beating like it was going to jump out of my throat. I didn't even dare to breathe, afraid of missing any subtle expression on her face. Just then my mom reacted first. She walked over quickly, pulled Anna into her arms, and patted her back gently. "Child, don't cry, don't cry. Mom knows our Noah is a bastard and let you suffer. But what he said is the truth. Mom has seen these 8 years with her own eyes." My dad also walked over. Although his face was still serious, his eyes revealed a hint of relief. He walked up to Chad, who was being held by security, with a confused look on his face, and said coldly, "Nephew Chad, today is my 60th birthday. I don't want to make a big scene, but you publicly slander my daughter-in-law. I'll remember this debt. Show him out." Chad was dragged out by 2 security guards, shouting unwillingly, but no one cared anymore. Everyone's eyes were focused on me and Anna. Under my mom's comfort, Anna's emotions gradually calmed down. She came out of my mom's arms, wiped her tears, and then under everyone's gaze reached out her hand to me. "The floor is cold. Get up." Her voice was thick with nasal tones, but unusually gentle. I stared blankly at her outstretched hand, unable to react for a moment. She was a little embarrassed, her cheeks flushing red. She scolded playfully, "What do you want me to pull you up?" I finally woke up from the dream. Ecstasy swept through my whole body instantly. I grabbed her hand and used the leverage to stand up. Her hand was no longer cold, but carried a warm, reassuring temperature. I held it tightly, never wanting to let go. The banquet finally ended in a wonderful atmosphere. The guests left with bellies full of gossip and shock. The eyes looking at us changed from disdain to envy and blessing. On the way home, neither of us spoke. I drove, glancing at her in the passenger seat from time to time. She leaned against the window, watching the night scenery retreat rapidly, not knowing what she was thinking. It wasn't until the car pulled into the apartment's underground garage and stopped that she turned her head to look at me seriously. "Noah, was everything you said at the banquet true? Every sentence?" I met her gaze, incredibly firm. 8 years. I interrupted her, my voice a bit dry. "Since sophomore year, when you handed me a bottle of water on the basketball court, I was a goner." I told her a lot about the past. I told her how I secretly noted all her preferences, what she liked to eat, what she hated, what she was allergic to. I told her how every time she had her period, I found a way to get the girls in class to bring her hot chocolate, but lied, saying it was bought with class funds. I told her how I studied desperately to get into the same university as her, transforming from a slacker to a scholar. I told her how, when other guys confessed to her, I hid in the corner with heartache, unable to breathe, but still had to go up and tease her after she rejected them, pretending nothing was wrong. Our school beauty, Anna, is handing out friend zone cards again. The more I talked, the harder she cried. It turned out those moments she thought were coincidences or taken for granted hid my clumsy and deep love behind them. I'm sorry," she cried. "Noah, I'm sorry. I was too dull. I didn't know anything. I treated you like that. I don't blame you." I reached out to wipe the tears from her face. "I blame myself. I was too cowardly. If I had told you earlier, we wouldn't have taken so many detours. Then, that contract." I smiled and took out the prenuptial agreement we had both signed from my inner suit pocket. Then right in front of her, I tore it into pieces. "From now on, it's void." I looked in her eyes and said word by word, "And I don't want to be a partner anymore. I want to be your real husband for a lifetime. Are you willing?" She didn't answer, but suddenly leaned forward and blocked my lips with her soft, salty lips stained with tears. This kiss was green and clumsy, but full of long-suppressed emotions. I took the lead, holding the back of her head and deepening the kiss. In the underground garage, there were only our rapid heartbeats and breathing sounds. After a long time, we parted. She leaned in my arms, her cheeks red like ripe apples. "Actually, I have to confess something to you, too." Actually, during the time living with you, I seem to have fallen for you a little bit too. Her voice was small. Seeing Chloe come to find you, I would be unhappy. Seeing you treat me, well, my heart would race. Today, seeing you hit Chad for me, I admit my heart moved. So, she looked up, her eyes sparkling at me. Does the proposal just now still count? I couldn't control myself anymore and hug her tightly into my arms using so much strength. It was like I wanted to rub her into my bones and blood. It counts. Of course it counts. It counts for a lifetime. Our story started with a ridiculous contract, but unexpectedly moved toward the most perfect ending. Anna's father's health improved day by day under careful treatment. Her family's company also slowly got on the right track with my dad's help and our joint efforts. Everything was developing in a good direction. That night we snuggled on the sofa watching a movie. Anna suddenly poked my waist. Noah. She was a little embarrassed, her cheeks red. About that contract to have a baby. I froze, then reacted, leaning into her ear with a wicked smile. Why does Mrs. Sterling want to fulfill the contract now? Her face turned completely red instantly. She grabbed a pillow and smashed it at me. Noah, you big bastard. I caught the pillow with a smile and scooped her up along with the pillow into my arms. The moonlight outside the window was gentle. I knew our true happy life was just beginning.